What a week on the greatest game show in RuneScape history. Welcome back to a review of week 4 of the Gielinor games. If you're not familiar, go click the link in the description and watch some of the greatest content in the game. 18 content creators battling it out for what is now almost 35 billion GP. Spoiler wall is over. This was my favorite week of the show so far. I've got some cool stats and facts for you guys, as well as some never before seen footage from my perspective of the challenge. We're going to talk about the very infamous tribunal and banning, everything that went on this week, because there is so much that you guys didn't see. Okay, let's get started. Hootie won the banning last week, so he gets to create the teams for this week's challenge, which is Gielinor. To put it simply, you get a small picture of a location, get to it as fast as possible, score the most points by getting there before other people. It's really simple. You really want to be first because you get a huge point bonus for being the first one there. I have never lost this challenge on Gielinor games. This is my third time playing it. Jimmy and I won this challenge in season 2, Framed and I won this challenge in season 3, and now in season 4, I had the chance for the three-peat to defend the undefeated title in this game. But also, there was something else on the line, of course, and that's safety in the game, which is most important because I'm starting to feel a bit of a target forming on my back, and I don't love it. But if I was going to win my 4th challenge in a row and make my 4th tribunal, it would be on this challenge. Hootie gets to pick the teams. He picks me and Solo Mission to be on his team. I felt pretty good about that. These guys both play the game a ton. They're going to have the knowledge we need to make this work. We can win this, is my thoughts going into this week. Something that was really briefly touched on in the episode was the team names. This was the most ridiculous thing. Our team name was The Tribunal. We essentially just wanted to manifest the win and just call ourselves that, but simultaneously, everyone was preying on our downfall this week. It was so funny, and we knew that, like, if we don't win this challenge, someone from our team is going into this banning, most likely me or Solo Mission, just to spite our team name. It put more pressure on us to win, and we had to do it. Like, it was do or die this week, so my main contributions to the team were the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th locations. I knew the Wintertod one immediately, just wasn't sure of specifics, but once we split up, we ended up in 1st, 2nd, and 4th. Finding the fastest light source on round number 3 got me 1st place. And then, if you were wondering how we placed 1st, 2nd, and 3rd on location 4, it was this.
Yes.
I'm still fully bought into the Ecto thing. I think it's gonna be one of them. I'm holding this Ecto, dude. I have a feeling.
I'm just waiting to see Pyophanes, man.
It's it, Ecto. We could not get over the fact that we have exactly 10k in our inventory, and we decided that it could be because we also have an Ecto file, and you need exactly 10,000 coins to use this boat north of the Ecto file to travel to sleep. So, for 3 straight rounds, just pre-hovering the Ecto file. That's all I did, and I recognized that church in a heartbeat. I instantly knew that was Mauritania, so combine that with pre-hovering the Ecto. I mean, I one-ticked it, I started yelling it, like I needed urgency when I said Ecto, because I needed them to teleport immediately, and we were so ready for this one, and just being those extra 3 seconds ahead of the game on this one gave us all a top 3 placement, getting us a huge point boost. We were so far ahead at this point in the game that everyone pretty much assumed we had it locked in. And the funny part was, despite all 3 of us getting dead last on location number 5, we still just barely managed to take it by 1 point. 1 point. Insane challenge. Our super strong performances before just carried us, so the last location didn't really matter. We had an amazing challenge. I tied with Bodhi for MVP for individual points this challenge. We both had 54. Solo coming in really close with 53, and we take the W. Team Tribunal is in the Tribunal, and oh my god, is it the most chaotic Tribunal. I need to tell you guys more about what happens in this Tribunal call. So the call starts, and I really want to get a farmer into the banning. I know it's a big move, but they grow into a bigger problem each week as they control a larger and larger majority of the competitive threats. So let's get one of them in this week. Hootie and Solo seemingly have no problem with this, and we decide to send in Roidy. You could make an amazing case to send any of the 4 farmers in. Foe is probably the craftiest and most calculated, whereas I think Roidy has the edge PVM-wise, or someone like MMORPG, who is a Grandmaster on his Iron Man. Mammal seems too nice of a person to be scheming anything, so despite being a great player, he seems the most harmless out of the 4. I wanted Roidy in because I was hoping for an unlucky challenge and that the pressure would get to him a bit as a rookie, But if you've seen the episode, you know that 0 farmers went into this banning. Our entire tribunal call was meaningless, so throw all of that out the window because Eevescape went into this banning, a name that none of us said in the tribunal call. So I need to set the scene for you guys here, because you have no idea how this actually went down, okay? A lot gets lost in the editing when you're making a neat, presentable, understandable cut for YouTube. So, Hootie starts off the voting. He says Roydy. He makes a little speech about it, which honestly could have gone without that, but I understand. Soup usually does ask the first person going, like, why they're voting. But you could really just say, like, a platitude or, like one word, like, Roydy, he's a competitive threat. Hootie does make a bit too much of a speech there, which I didn't love, but, like, okay, anyway, we move on. Soup says, solo mission, who will you vote for? Solo mission says Eevescape. This blindsides the hell out of me, and while I'm processing this, Soup is asking for my vote. I'm not exaggerating, I had literally maybe 5 seconds to process this and make my decision. What did Solo just do? Why is he not going with the plan? Why did he not vote Roydy? Oh my god, he doesn't want the farmers coming after him, so I'm quickly connecting all these dots in my head. I will be sending Eevescape into the banning. And after I say Eevescape's name, I mute in Discord and I just start laughing, dude. Like, I just laughed for like 15 seconds straight at what had just happened because it was just so funny. Like, I was still processing how this happened. I think Solo was relying on me not making such an impulsive decision because we just talked about Roydy for like 10 minutes. There really wasn't any time to think about the implications of it all. So I think he still felt somewhat safe putting in a burn vote as the second one voting. Like, if you were in his position, do you expect the person after you to make a 5-second decision to vote with you instead of what they had just talked about for 10 minutes? It had to be really quick. And I had to figure out why he did it in those couple seconds. But honestly, sending an Eevescape here seems like a great play. He's an arch nemesis of my best friend in the game. He is a competitive threat. There's so many benefits to this. The farmers don't know that I was after Roydy, so I can lay low for a week and they might not target me. I messaged Hootie and assured him I had absolutely no idea Solo Mission was going to burn vote here. So I tried to mend things with Hootie just in case. But the worst part of all of this is while I'm busy laughing after saying Eevescape's name, I never heard him pick Framed. I'm actually typing to Framed during this, and I'm like, dude, what just happened? Like, that was a crazy tribunal call, man. Like, wasn't that insane? And he messages me back, and he's like, dude, I'm in the banning. Well, that's literally how it happened. It was so quick that I literally didn't even know. My only friend in the game is going into the banning today. I found out 5 minutes later when they were about to start the banning. And yeah, you get very little time to prepare for a banning, by the way. They were just in there, basically. And respect to Eevee for picking Framed because this was a grudge match. I think Eevee had multiple choices that would have all but guaranteed he makes it further in this game. And I have a decent relationship with people like Solo, Victim, even C Engineer now, but Framed is someone I can actually trust, probably the only person. So I really needed him to win this banning. Really cool banning too. A banning that Eevescape has won before. For this one, you find unique items across the map, fill your bank with them, most unique items wins. Framed ends up winning by 3 items. Super clutch performance by him. I was so happy to see him win this. Eevescape is not coming back. And once again, respect to Eevee. I know people give him a lot of crap, but dude makes it entertaining, ultimately. I love what he brings to the show. But I'm glad he's gone competitively. So, I mean, this was a perfect week, essentially. The farmers are definitely alerted to a target on their heads, but I don't think they're necessarily associating me with that target, which would have happened if I said Roydy's name this week. And I was kind of bonding with Solo Mission during the challenge. Like, we had great communication. We were having so much fun. And then the burn vote happened, and you're like, yep, that's why this guy is here. A big reminder of who this guy is, what he does on this show, and him having to essentially root for Eevescape's downfall in this banning is just that's the most entertaining outcome of all time. It's so funny that his best friend ends up going in there. Framed ends up taking the 200 mil, so there's no sabotage for next week. Would have been good because we probably could have made some kind of play together, but the sabotage does put a big target on you. It could get you revenge voted, so I completely understand that. So I just won my 4th tribunal in a row, which, by the way, is a record on Gielinor Games. No one has ever won 4 challenges in a row on Gielinor Games before. I asked Soup. So the record was 3, which happened last season by Solo Mission. So I am now quite literally on the biggest hot streak in the history of the show. The only thing I can do is try my best to continue winning. I'll see you guys in the week 5 review. Thanks for watching.